Do you think it's even important for someone to have a home inspection?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, of course, you're in the home inspection business.
Well, yeah, I want that. But here's the thing. As an agent, when you take a buyer to a house, they're trying to form an emotional bond or connection to that property. Mm-hmm. I go in there, I'm impartial. I'm there to make sure their investment is sound as opposed to, oh, I love this kitchen or the carpet is beautiful. I want to make sure things function properly, structurally, it's sound. So yeah, everybody should have a home inspection.
All right, welcome to the Realty FC podcast. I'm your host, Chris Hild, with my co-host, Michelle Lewis. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing great.
Great. Hey, we're coming into Thanksgiving.
I know. One of my favorite holidays. It's probably second after Christmas, but
yeah, why is
Thanksgiving.
That? Why is it your favorite?
Oh.
The food?
The food. I always cook, too.
Oh, well, that doesn't sound like fun.
But it is.
I always eat.
It is. It's my favorite holiday to cook for.
Oh,
and
okay.
All the kids are always there.
So they come to your place or do you go somewhere?
No,
okay.
they come to my house.
Oh, yeah, well, because you do all the cooking.
I've done this for years. So, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. No, yeah, we usually go to my wife's mom's house and just eat tons of food. She makes way too much food. But that's never a problem for me.
Yeah. Well, I've done this for a lot of years. My parents actually used to come to our house at Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Mom got out of cooking after I was, able to start doing it.
Okay. So a lot of people have been asking me, what does the FC stand for in Realty FC? Now, I know you know.
But I had to ask too.
Yeah?
Remember when I first met you?
Do you remember what you thought it stood for?
I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure. No.
Okay. Well, we'll pretend that people want to know.
Okay. I'm sure they do.
Yeah. So it stands for football club. We'll get right to the point.
Mm-hmm.
The reason for that, as you're probably wondering, is because soccer is a big hobby of mine.
Right.
Yeah, I played through high school. I played other sports too, but soccer turned out to be the one I ended up playing for a longer time. Played through college, and I still play up to this point. But I got to tell you, my body just doesn't take it the way it used to be.
Yeah, we all get old someday, Chris.
Whoa. I didn't say I was old. Not getting there quite yet. This puts the question of what does the FC stand for? A lot of people thought, Frederick County, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Some say first choice because we should be everybody's first choice when it comes to real estate, right?
Exactly. No, that's my motto.
And I know it has absolutely nothing to do with real estate, but that was just a passion of mine, as is real estate. So I was able to put two passions together and call it Realty FC.
Oh,
so
that's great.
There you have it.
That's great.
Yep.
Well, and it does fit because really, Realty FC, we're a big team.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's one of the other reasons why I felt like the team, a lot of soccer teams out there in the professional world have FC in the front or FC in the back. And I've coached before and I have coaching experience and I felt like I want the team atmosphere.
Right.
I want, so not that the team creates that, but just for me, it felt like it followed our philosophy of having, this is a team. We're the brokers, right? But and the agents are the agents, but we're in this together.
Exactly.
We're here to make this business great, right?
Exactly.
So, well, hey, look, let's cut to the chase. We've got an awesome guest coming on today. It's Mike Mealy. He's a home inspector with Pillar to Post.
Okay.
So there's going to be some pretty bad stories, but we're here to educate, and we're going to learn a lot today.
Okay.
So let's welcome Mike to the show.
All right. Sounds good.
Welcome to the show, Mike. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Good. Hey, listen, let's let the audience know a little bit about yourself. Are you from the area?
I grew up in Herndon. I've been in Winchester, Frederick County since '96.
And what brought you to this area? So you've been here for a while.
Yeah. Kids. Didn't want to raise them in Northern Virginia.
Yeah. No, I can understand that. I'm from the Maryland area, so I moved out here to be in what I felt like a better situation.
Right.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So how long you been in home inspection business?
7 years now.
7 years.
Yep.
Enjoying it?
Well, when the market's good. Yeah. Right now,
I think we all can relate to that for sure.
Yeah, but no, I love what I do. I like helping people.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. So what made you want to get into home inspections?
So I've kind of been like a jack of all trades, master of none.
Same here.
Started out doing electrical work.
Okay.
Went to HVAC. Then started working with Johnson Controls and Honeywell doing computerized building controls.
Oh.
And then for some reason got into finance. So
yeah, that's a gear shift right there.
Yeah. I was a finance director in auto dealerships for 15 years.
Oh, wow.
A friend of mine in Florida does home inspections. So I started teaming up with him, getting, some feel for it.
I'm familiar with it.
Yeah. I'm like, if I'm going to work 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, I'm going to do it for myself.
Yeah.
So
that's a lot.
Kind of went back to what I know as far as construction, electrical, mechanical, and bought the Pillar to Post franchise for the local area.
And I've always been kind of curious. I mean, you've got a lot of experience under your belt from the construction, realm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you think it's important to have that kind of knowledge being a home inspector, or versus someone that just goes and takes the home inspection course and comes out and...
Well, yeah, obviously. It's like being a car mechanic. You can't read a book and work on a car.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but real quick, I want to interject. When you were learning about the home inspection business, were you like, oh, that's not right? Or this isn't what should be pointing out? Or do you feel like it all married up to what your experience from being in construction prior to going in home inspection?
Well, you
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, kind of. You always have situations you go in and you're like, well, yeah, that's totally wrong.
Because there's a lot of opinions on how things should be done. So
right.
It's, I guess they try to standardize as much as possible.
Well, they do. We got standards of practice that we have to adhere to, certain things that we have to classify certain ways.
Yeah.
It's like I tell every buyer, just because I classify something a deficiency, it's not catastrophic.
Yeah.
I have to classify certain things certain ways.
Yeah, that's important. And, on the show, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to educate people on, really the real estate industry and what to understand and better know to just have a better experience in the whole transaction, right?
Right.
So do you think it's even important for someone to have a home inspection?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, of course, you're in the home inspection business.
Well, yeah, I want the business. But here's the thing. As an agent, when you take a buyer to a house, they're trying to form an emotional bond or connection to that property. Mm-hmm. I go in there, I'm impartial. I'm there to make sure their investment is sound.
Sure.
As opposed to, oh, I love this kitchen, or the carpet is beautiful. I don't care about any of that stuff. I want to make sure things function properly, structurally, it's sound.
Okay.
So, everybody should have a home inspection.
Yeah. Now, I will say, and Michelle, you probably can relate to this, we were having to make offers and taking the home inspection off, right? To just make our offers competitive.
Yep.
So is there any advice to get around that? I mean, if we can't get a home inspection for our clients during, in the contract, is there other avenues that a buyer can have a home inspection, like maybe after they buy the home?
I've been lately doing a lot of post-settlement inspections.
Post-settlement inspections.
And a lot of times, unfortunately, those are scary.
Yeah.
I've had some where
it's after the fact.
Yeah, I've had some where there's no issues. Yeah. I've had a handful of them where there's hundreds of thousands of dollars of foundation issues.
Oh, no. Yeah, that's a scary one.
Because when you look at a house, you're not going in the crawl space. You're not going in the attic. I am.
I'm not.
Exactly. Exactly. I am. Yeah. So, they can do post-settlement. Even if they do informational purpose only.
Sure.
At least they kind of know going in, all right, this is what we have to budget for, or, oh, we're good.
Yeah, so let me just elaborate on that a little bit. So informational purposes only means the buyer can get a home inspection, but they cannot negotiate repairs.
Right.
It's just an option that they can either stay in the deal or get out of the deal. So that's for informational purposes only, or void only.
Well, that would be void only.
Void
correct.
only, yeah. And there's even another one where it's just you're getting the home inspection and it's just, like you said, informational
for
purposes
your knowledge.
Only. You can't get out of the deal one way or another.
You get what you get.
Yeah.
At least you know, okay, we're kind of in trouble, or okay, we're good.
Yeah. Now, I've also heard, and I don't know if you're doing this or not, but have you ever walked through a property with a buyer on their first showing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So talk about that.
Well, the state's kind of cutting back on us on that.
Oh, really?
For doing that because of liability reasons.
Oh.
But we still do them. It's called a walk and talk.
Okay.
It's basically no documentation. You just walk around like I'm looking at the house going, okay, you got this issue, this issue, this issue, kind of giving them a little bit of knowledge. And typically, agents will have me do that prior to putting an offer in on a house.
That's what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
So it's a kind of an informal home inspection.
Yep.
Okay. Fantastic. Well,
are you going into the crawl space or the
On
attic
those,
when you do those? Or
typically
no?
not the attic.
Okay.
Crawl space, I usually try and sneak in real quick.
Yeah.
Attic, no, because you don't want to stain up the access so that the sellers know, oh, somebody's been in my attic.
Yeah.
Because 90% of the time, the agents aren't saying, oh, I'm bringing a home inspector with me to do a walk and talk.
Yeah.
You know, it's not sneaking around, but it's kind of just on the download doing a little.
Yeah. It's bringing in a professional that can help you see things that you might not see.
Right.
Okay. Fantastic. Now, to let people know, about how much would you say a home inspection about costs normally?
I mean, my pricing is based off square footage, but for instance, let's say a 3,000 square foot house would be about $425.
Okay. And is that something that the clients pay that day?
They can either pay it prior to the inspection or the day of the inspection.
Okay, fantastic. And normally, and I know it's again, it depends on the square footage of a home and even the difficulty of sometimes of the home and even how many repairs it might need. How long would you say it takes for a home inspector? Because I know that, the buyers, they like to be there, right? And we encourage them to be there.
Oh, I want them there.
Yeah, and not they don't always have to be there because you provide a very nice professional report to them and to us afterwards with pictures and explanations, and you're even accessible via phone for any questions. But how long should someone, because sometimes they have to take off work, right? How long would you say it takes?
I mean, again, it depends on the size of the house, but if you, average 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
You get bigger houses, obviously they're going to take longer, but I like at least 2.5 hours. That way I can take my time, be thorough. Yeah. And at the end of every inspection, I sit down with the buyer and completely review the inspection report, picture by picture, page by page.
Oh, awesome.
That way, everybody knows when we leave the house exactly what my findings were, my recommendations, and why I'm pointing it out.
And I think that is one of the reasons why it's really important for the buyers to attend the inspections, because there are things that you're going to note on that report that are basically maybe deficiencies, but it's not something that they should be afraid of, and you're able to explain that to them.
That's 100%, because a lot of times, especially younger first-time home buyers, if they see a picture and words on a paper, they're going to get scared. But it's not necessarily that way.
Yeah.
And if I can verbalize with them at the end of the inspection and kind of calm their nerves, then they've got a better feeling going forward with the transaction.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, because
absolutely.
I mean, really, in reality, there is no perfect home inspection ever.
Even new construction.
No.
Oh, don't get me started on that one. I find
we'll
more
get there.
Okay, I'll back up then.
Oh, no, that's great. So, I mean, would you say that you could come up with a couple of the most common issues you see on home inspections? I mean, do you think there's something that's pretty common?
I can go into every inspection and know that I'm going to...
Can I guess? Is one of them a hot water heater?
Oh, yeah, that's one.
Okay.
But you're going to have exterior wood rot on trim.
Oh, yeah.
90% of the time.
Yeah.
You're going to have a leaky faucet 90% of the time, and some kind of receptacle or GFCI that doesn't work.
Yeah.
I could almost pre-print those comments in every report and just go to the house.
Oh, that's great. Well, let's segue into, let's talk about some scary stories. Just a few. I know you've got a bunch.
All right. So about 2 years ago, I guess it was, I was up at Bryce Resort doing an inspection.
Oh, yeah.
Young, first-time home buyers. A Rambler, crawl space, cinder block. Okay, so I get in the crawl space, and I'm on the southwest side of the house. And I'm looking, and there's water. Whole bunch, it's like a pond.
In the crawl space?
Yeah. So then I start feeling around. About a 10-foot section of the structural footer that the cinder block sits on was gone. Just wasn't there. So the cinder blocks were just kind of sitting, supporting themselves. Yeah, so at that point in time, I get out of the crawl space. I had taken some pictures. I showed the agent. I'm like, look, this is where we're at.
Not what we want to see.
This is where we're at with this. In my head, I'm thinking, don't buy this house. But that's not up to me to tell them.
Right.
So I let the agent approach the buyers and show them the pictures. And at that point, we stopped the inspection and they voided the contract. Because you have to excavate the whole side of that house, support the house, and re-pour a footer. And this was a informational purpose only inspection.
Oh, no.
So they would have been flipping the bill on that.
Oh, man.
So that one sticks with me.
Yeah.
Another one, I'm touching on the new construction.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Development here in town. The buyers had changed the elevation, the front elevation of the house.
Right.
Which in turn changed the design of the engineered trusses in the garage. So because of time frame, instead of the builder ordering new trusses, they altered the engineered trusses.
And you'd never see it as a buyer because they put drywall on. And
right. And you can't alter an engineered truss. So that's a structural engineer, had to come out and redo that, and they ended up having to get new trusses.
Yeah, that's not a cheap bill.
Wow.
No.
Hey, that's a great catch, protecting the buyer. That's what we want. So we're talking about home inspections, but there's also, sometimes we do what's called a radon inspection. Explain to folks, in your best way of what radon is and how do you test for it?
So radon is a odorless, invisible radioactive gas that comes from the breakdown of the uranium in soil, rock, and water.
Right.
It's the number 2 cause of lung cancer in North America.
Okay, so it's important.
Yeah. EPA standards say anything over 2 picocuries, you should have a mitigation system put in. Real estate transaction is typically 4 picocuries.
4, yeah. I was going to say, I thought it was 4.
Yeah, well, EPA is...
Okay.
So what we do with that is I use a continued monitor machine, set it in the house, closed house conditions for 48 hours.
Right.
And that takes an average of the radon over 48 hours because it's always fluctuating. Time of day, weather conditions, time of year, it always changes. And based off that, we provide the report.
Yeah, and I think, to be clear, they test it in places where it can build up.
Lowest livable level, yeah.
Right, so radon is in the air. But since it's wide open, it's not high enough levels to be dangerous. It gets dangerous when it builds up in concealed places.
In a house.
In a house. And so talk about how do we get rid of it?
Well, you put in a mitigation system. There's two types. You got a passive system, which is the pipe that's submerged down below the slab and vents above the roof line. You have an active system, which is the same configuration of piping, but it has a fan that is continuously drawing the radon gas from underneath the slab.
So which one do you recommend?
Active.
Active? Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Now, I think it's code now that new home construction has to have at least a passive. Is that?
They're putting passives in on houses now, which is good because if you have to add the blower, it's easy to do. The pipe's already there. But 90% of the new constructions that I see from the bigger builders have the passive systems.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. But it doesn't always hurt to still have it tested because if it gets concealed, it's going to build up.
Right.
It could be dangerous.
I recommend multiple tests.
Oh, really?
Because it's always fluctuating.
Yeah.
Now, I live in a cul-de-sac. My neighbor was 0.6 picocuries. My house was 15.
Oh, wow.
And I'm right next to him.
It's pretty prominent in this area, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, Virginia's a hot spot for it.
Yeah. Okay. And you set the test down there for how long? Like 3 days?
48 hours.
48 hours. You come back, you pick it up, you send it off, and when you do drop it off, you leave a little note there for the seller to try not to leave windows open,
right?
Keep the doors open because what would that do?
It vents it.
Right, it vents out. Right.
You have to maintain closed house conditions. Normal in and out is fine.
Yeah.
But no open windows, open doors for any extended period of time.
Right, and I will warn sellers: you open the windows, you open the doors, it's going to show on the test kit.
Well, my test has it lets you know if it's tampered with.
Exactly.
Somebody moves it or covers it up, I'll get a tamper alert.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Perfect. I know we talked about this a little bit, but let's kind of dive in a little bit more because I think it's important. We talked about the report that comes along to the buyers, and it's a very timely thing to get this report because real estate agents. What do you say, Michelle? How long would you say we have to get the home inspection done and to deliver any repairs?
Typically, it's anywhere between 5 and 7 days.
Yeah,
because the seller doesn't want to wait.
Yeah,
so we're kind of under the gun.
Right. It takes the property off the market, and they're waiting for this to happen. You got to negotiate the repairs. I see typically about 7 days. 5 days is pretty quick. I've even seen it up to 10 days. But regardless, we need to get in touch with a home inspector and get them to the house, get this report. How quickly do you turn that report around, and how many folks do you have working at pillar and post? So, because a lot of times everyone's so busy with the market being so strong, it's hard to nail down a home inspector. So I know you got a couple people working for you, so it makes it easier to get pillar and post out there, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, we work 7 days a week.
Oh,
I don't say no. I've gone to Colonial Beach. I mean, I go wherever.
Well, hold on. Was that for an inspection? Or was that for?
I took my fishing pole, but it was for inspection.
All right. That's what I thought.
No, we turn the report around that same day. Usually within a couple hours, the report's in the email.
Yeah, I mean, that's important to us because we want to get the information and get the contract continue to roll. Ask for the repairs in a timely situation, and if it doesn't work out, we want to move on as quickly as possible.
Right.
Same for the seller. Right.
So to elaborate a little bit on the report that we provide, we have the PDF version. We also do a 360-degree virtual walkthrough of the entire house that incorporates our report findings into it. So it allows the buyer to virtually scroll through the house room by room and collect the report findings in there as well. It also comes with a measured floor plan of the entire house room by room.
Oh, that's great.
That comes in handy where, let's say, a buyer wants to do new flooring. They've already got a floor plan with the measurements. They just send it to the contractor to get pricing.
You know, that's great to know because I didn't know that. And it's great because it never fails that a buyer's like, hey, can I go back in and take measurements?
Right.
And then now I'm trying to contact the listing agent and they're like, you know, and then so the sellers, they're all packing, they're trying to do their thing. And it's just, you know, it just comes sometimes inconvenient. It's not convenient for everyone. So having that is certainly an advantage. So that's awesome.
We've had good feedback on that.
Yeah, good. Well, hey, Mike, thanks for coming to the show, man.
You've been awesome. You having me.
So if people want to reach you, how do they get a hold of you? How do they get a hold of Pillar and Post?
I mean, we're on the internet, Mealy Team, pillartopost.com, or they can text me, call me, 540-550-9783.
Awesome.
I answer all the time.
Yep. Okay. Hey, Mike, I've dealt with him many times. Guy's professional, expert in his industry. You've just heard it yourself. And Mike, thanks again for coming to the show.
Appreciate you having me.
Mike.
All right, Mike, he was an awesome guest, wasn't he?
He really was.
Yeah,
he really was.
I can't imagine some of the stuff he gets into.
He is. I've worked with him before, and he's so informative.
Yeah. You know what I really would have liked to have asked him? Has he come across any crazy animals? Get into those crawl spaces, because that's the first thing I think about when I try to go down in a crawl space.
Oh yeah,
like for my house. Going into a crawl space. No.
Have you ever run into snakes?
Snakes? No, definitely haven't.
I've run into them in basements before.
Have you really?
I have.
Alive or like snake skins?
Alive. No. Alive.
No.
Yeah.
No thanks.
Yeah, it didn't take me. It was funny because I looked at the wife and I said, I don't want you to be alarmed, but I'm going up the steps. And I pointed, and she says, I'm right behind you.
I'd have been like, I know you need to be alarmed.
Yeah. There was just black snakes. So the husband actually found something to pick it up and take it out the door. So it wasn't so bad. So Chris, if people are enjoying the podcast, where can they go for more?
Oh yeah, just like, subscribe, and comment below on our YouTube channel. Share it with as many people as you can, because we're here to educate. So the more people that get to hear this, I think they're going to be just know more about the whole real estate puzzle, how all the pieces fit together.
Okay.
And you're going to want to join us next time. We got an awesome guest with clear title, Tim Ketron. The guy's a professional, knows all about his industry, super passionate about it. And you're going to want to hear this one.
Right. Okay. I can't wait.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.